Hi, my world, my saints of God. I'm Michael the Warrior, the Hunter, Archangel. My name is Michael Todd Case. I was sworn in under President Gerald Ford when I was a boy sitting in the chair. And the Master Masons, Russell Bates, and my father, Orville Case, 32nd degree Master Mason of the Temple in Washington, the Scottish Temple. I have native ancestry here, Potawatomi of Christ. My ancestors had told me I'm from planet Nephilia system Zephyra. God is coming. I've got legions of ships coming. Region to legion around the earth, zeroing in. Our weather will be changing as my ships, when they cool, they cloud themselves, causes condensation and freezing. We got some hail today, some white bread, like Moses. God just keeps making me make videos and keep telling everyone in the world the truth. And yes, I had Jimmy Ford and Brent Bates and Linda Evans and Travis try to play a game with me, dubbing my videos, taking my good posts, my pictures, data, stealing a wooden key I had, the Knight of Oak marker I had, just trying to eliminate me and my own boy. My only son, by the way, my queen. And if you read scripture, Revelations, I'm that man, angel, carrying the stars, the red, white, and blue. Blue for God's everlasting greatness, power, and love. The stars for his everlasting angels. The red for Jesus, Father's blood shed for you, I, we, our sins. And the white stripes he took on his back and legs. And his cloak he wore, the covering of them who I, we, you, and my saints serve. Now we have a one true living God and ancestors getting ready to step off in ships. And I was mind snuffed in CIA mind therapy at 15 years old after just completing the secret private ghost program of the Thunderbirds. I had just made captain at 14 or 15 years old out West U.S. Academy, Air Force Academy. The Ghost program. Yes, my father-in-law, General Nita Prum, developed the program and designed the drawings and blueprints of our Thunderbird planes. He is an artist, a straight line artist. I have so much information to share with my world to stop this war and bring peace. Yes, I came after Jimmy, the devil. He likes to slip around and sneak around for years, and he's not true Ford. My mother, Maria Patassin, is true Ford blood. You'll research the Ford family was invited here, on the house here on Capitol Avenue, down the street here from my sisters, where this is a horseshoe gold mine where the Y maple set. The Ford family was invited here. We had researched the signatures of the leaving the country there and entering here, and then the signatures of the transfers of their property deeds and stuff. The signatures had changed. You'll find they had poisoned the whole family and kept my mother Maria alive. My mother Maria Patassin is true Ford, true Queen's blood, true Queen of Poland. You'll find I Am Her Son by Orville Case. At the same time, on May 22nd, I was born by my mother Maria, and on June 2nd tonight, my father Daniel Case and Emily Green, Warner Green, had me also, and I had died. My father Orville Case put me in place of my father Daniel Case's son. I was told later as a boy by my grandfather that he was my real father, and I had told my father, that's okay. You can still be my daddy. And he still is. Now, you'll find Ford came in, tried to get all these badges and cover the whole Case family up and get all our money. My father's got Secret Service money coming. I also, and so does my son. You'll find this is about the Monroe will. You'll find my Nicole Cantrell is the true daughter of Marilyn Monroe. Do the blood test. I tell the truth, and she is also Queen's blood of Israel. Yes, once we had lived on Saturn. My Nicole from Israel, her bloodline is older than mine. Ours. You'll also find when they had decided to come here to the new country, all the royal bloods had sent all the Queen's bloods here to Battle Creek of all nationalities. You'll find the prices are of Taiwanese, Japanese, Queen's blood. Papa Price. You'll find the Pearson twins, Jeannie and Jana, are true Queen's blood of Japan. Japanese. They are my cousins by blood. Yes, I am Japanese blood also. I am blue by my mother, Maria Potassin, and orange through my father, Orville Case. You'll find my father, Orville Case, was signed in Library of Congress and paid to search out the Y maples, gold. You'll find Charles Chuck Oakes of Oakes Salvage in Battle Creek is also my mother's cousin, Emily Warner Green. You'll find Chuck Oakes is direct descendant of the Knight of Oak that came here from the Church of St. Andrew on a mission from Austria to find Mary Magdalene and her daughter's bloodline, who had came up the Mississippi with a Portuguese knight escort to live here and became Potawatomi of Christ. You'll find they were the oldest that ever lived here in Michigan in history that we even have documentation on. You'll also find there was a cave researched in Maine where they had drew drawings in a cave of the Anunnaki, the bird, the flesh-eating bird, landing, and riding the snakes, the people. We had researched that Jimmy Ford was out of the Anunnaki blood. Actually, Nixon's son. You'll find all the royal bloods were sent here. You'll find the queen of the one Liberty store here on Capitol. I don't even know her name, but I also know she's my cousin, and she's like queen of somewhere in the Middle East, Arabia, India, Iraq. But they sent all the kings and queens' blood here. Bob Gordon, he's like king of Iraq, I believe. Miss Becky Overholt Davis, you'll find is direct descendant of King George of Britain. You'll find my mother, Emily Warner Case Green, is direct descendant from Austria. The Warner dynasty, at one time there were 6 kingdoms in Austria, and there was a Warner dynasty. You'll find they are of the Habsburgs family, direct descendants of the palace where Martin Luther had hid for a year from the king, the Pope, at that time. He was being hunted. I have much history to share. My mother's bloodline goes back to the Joan of Arc. I'm born of the crescent moon. You'll find they use the crescent moon throughout all my ancestry. You'll find I'm from Queen Nefertiti that walked with a cat, a guardian. Now all the royal bloods were here. You'll find Miss Ashley Nelson is queen of tribe of Asher. You'll find Jennifer Atkins is also another Queen's native blood here from Jim Atkins. And I can just keep going. All the royal bloods were sent here. And what this now is about is social security numbers and bloodlines. And because you were all brought here and hidden here, you are all entitled to royalties back to your true homelands. They had also decided to make duplicates and to double all of us to take over those royalties. That was part of their takeover plan. I have much more to share. I could go on for hours of the gifts that God gives me. I'm sitting here on a Y Maple gold mine. Yes, Chuck Oakes of Oak Salvage is my cousin, my mother's direct cousin, Emily Warner Green, Knight of Oak descendant, who they had found the grave. We had found his grave below 263 Main Street. So the Pope had came here. They had removed the casket, took his helmet and shield. He had carried a sword and a chalice. The chalice was put in that bank footing, buried at the north right side of Elm Street Bridge on Battle Creek River that Conrad city manager had tore down and demoed. You'll find the Pope. They did not want anyone to know that the Knight of Oak had been here first with a Portuguese knight escort, proving that they were actually here before they were. Yes, Battle Creek is the founding point of our nation. The flags are downtown to prove it. There's much gold hidden all over this town. You'll find Russell Bates had put the King James Treasury below the slide downtown. You'll find there's a tunnel that goes under the road. And now I see they're over there doing construction on the Heritage Tower, which makes me think they've went into the tunnel and are now stealing the King James Treasury. I also found dual antenna grounds and a 5-point star on the outsides of that playground and power outlet going into it. So I'm wondering what power is running that slide for children downtown. And I also noticed when you speak in the loudspeaker that the kids play with, it echoes down below. So it goes straight down below. Amazing. And like I said, that was where Russell Bates, personal protector of Gerald Ford, had flew back to King James Treasury and put it. I have very much more to share. You'll find the Library of Alexandria is really in that hill at Oak Hill Cemetery. Inside that chamber, break the wall, it's a hallway of rooms, all the way to Post's grave, full of treasure and records brought back from New York, and records all from the Library of Alexandria. Yes, Russell Bates regassed the chamber back up and re-blocked it. I have much more to share. I can walk this street of Battle Creek and point out treasure and gold and money as I go. No one listens. I have a shadow that walketh with me, and I'm proving it. I took a walk the other night, showing people as they walk how they're walking with one shadow and I'm walking with 5. One crosses both sides of the street. I have a short one, all different sizes. Yes, an angel liveth in me. And yes, we had knew this when I was 5. I was passing the information on to the elders. Yes, they were putting it down in manuals, and yes, that all my manuals were hidden at the Family Altar Chapel in that basement classroom behind the wall that's bricked up. I had Christmas presents in there wrapped to hand out that following Christmas to my family, friends at school, at Harper Creek High School, and I had letters in there to my whole high school class, which was about 150 letters, personally written out to everyone in my high school class in 1985 at Harper Creek High School in Battle Creek, Michigan. Yes, I did find the Staff of Aaron. As a boy, U.S. Air Force One off of Beaver Island. We flew to East Jordan. We landed, we went up in a Jeep. Then we had to walk the rest. Went up on a mountain plateau. I'd realized through Jeremiah and Psalms that they had sang songs plateau to plateau to go up and get the ark and bring it back. So as I went through scripture, I had also realized that 3x3x3 was a horseshoe. And we went up, found the mountain trail. We went down 3 over 3 and up into a mountain cave inside the mountain wall. I found Aaron's staff, jar of oil, and a bowl. Yes, after we found everything, we had flew back, and then Gerald Ford had a CIA fly everything back at a later date. And then they had later killed my 3 men at Parks Hotel who had brought it in from Chicago. And then later me and Russell Bates went over to Parks Hotel and retrieved it all, and I hid it to this day. Yes, I've had Travis Davis and Rex Dean Lindstedt tearing up my church, took over my family altar. My CIA I had built, Mark Banky and Travis Davis took over my CIA after mind therapying me to a paper at 15 years old. And then went and fixed me, told my commander they had destroyed the machines, and then later we caught Jimmy Ford using them in the North Road at the Bellevue Eagle Scout camp. He had 4 machines and 4 projectors running. It was a pretty tight outfit. I got in there and photographed it and got out of there barely alive, because these guys weren't playing. And I was a boy. You'll find, like I said, Travis Davis is a very evil man. My apology, I don't even know how to even his wife and family, but you'll find Travis Davis is an evil man. And like I said, I was filming him and Tim Gunning Jr. shotgunning Mexicans down Harper Creek when I was a boy, filming for my president, Gerald Ford of the United States of America, who I served and was sworn in to serve my church and then nation for God and for his saints for life until I die. In which, by the way, I have died quite a few times, and God has raised me every time. And he told me he would continue as long as I continued to stand and expose all of this and gift his people and bring them back to reality and prepare you all for their coming. Now this evil beast, the devil, I'm gonna just have to put it blunt and explain it to y'all. Satan left heaven with 1/3 of the angels, flew here in ships, landed, took over the churches and everything, took over the powers of God, hunted down his priests and killed them all, took control of his ship. Yes, he had a two-edged sword to circle around the earth to give constant power to both sides of the earth at the same time, with knowledge relayed through space, through ships to God. Now, is that so hard to realize? So then what he did was flipped everything around. Satan did. Now he knows God's coming in ships to get him. And he knew I came for him as a boy. And I found him. God dropped me right on top of him. Right here in Battle Creek. Now, to gift you all, yes, they're all lies. General Custer came in and killed the natives and took over the gold mines. The white gold mines are here, Battle Creek, Michigan, everywhere around the city. Them saint symbols on the mailboxes represented them. Them top hat wagons on the mailboxes represented the evil leader of the evil leaders of that presidency, the top hat party that hid it all and killed everyone and betrayed even the Queen. By the way, they were called the ESTs. Now I'm asking for a stand down. I know of the 6 nukes here in Battle Creek, the one on 20th Street, and the one check-marked behind the fire department at City Works. They are brought in through East Jordan Iron Works and sewer pipe, disguised in that Chinese porcelain, just as the ashtray I displayed. That was handed out, by the way, by Senator Levin, which is a communicator to a new satellite China had put up that no one in the world was aware of. And Senator Levin and Congressman Levin were told to hand it out across the nation and keep it next to their phone during all communications. So all of our information and data, courts, everything, it went up to a secret Chinese satellite. Now you'll find Ford had bought in NASA. So he's been using satellite to follow me. Gerald Ford had put a satellite on Bard Street to watch over my family and father as an experimental, and then I never heard from him again. It's been 30 years. You'll find Gerald Ford had sealed the Maple District here in Battle Creek. You'll find these Y maples here. I know where all the locations of the gold is. You'll find they had planted Y maples, straight maples, maples that go into 3, maples that go into 4, and clump maples that go into 5. And you'll find the ones that planted the trees hid their gold and monies in different locations, and I know them all. It's amazing the gifts God give the world 40 years ago. And I was in the desert, living not knowing who I was or even my past, because I was mind therapied at the family altar in a mind therapy program funded by CIA, because Mark Banky and Travis Davis was jealous of my gifts, and Tim Gunning Jr. and Jim Hazel and General Banky, they were all out to get me, because CIA had went out and chose 10,000 of the most gifted children in the nation, and then had contests, and I was chosen number one at 5 years old and made 5-star general of the mind therapy program. I was number one. And then my 5 captains in a Christian biblical memorization program took top 100 out of 10,000. Yes, I was trained in boxing. Mark Banky was trained in martial arts. English boxing I was. Staff and other things. Yes, I was also trained by 2 swords. You'll find we'd all took other training, and then they took advantage of the program. Mine snuffed us all to be somebody different. And then Jimmy Ford went on to programming his own people to make them better than us. And then mind therapied half our city to be nobody. This is just a crying shame. How you gonna go around and on mind therapy everybody, Linda Bates and Jimmy Ford? Did you think of how we're gonna solve that problem yet? God told me I can do it through love. That love will overcome the mind therapy. God's love. Now, like I said, I'm sitting on Y Maple Gold tonight. Maple Court. There used to be cannons sit here, and this was a horseshoe driveway. The general lived here, and guards lived here on both sides of the street, up in these balconies on these homes here. Guards were posted up on those balconies with rifles guarding this property here because of the golden treasure. Keep telling my sister you got all kinds of treasure buried under your front porch. They just shake their head. No one believes me. Wait till she sees what's there. And across the street over there in that home over there, there's gold mines. We're sitting on white gold mines all over Battle Creek. It's amazing. And like I said, the gold that isn't mining gold, that'll be found under these Y maples, belong to Chuck Oaks, because they were actually buried by his ancestor, Knight of Oak. And I can go around. There's so much gold and stuff here in this city. And it's a shame, and like I said, I'm just going to keep exposing to how the banks were doing it at the drive-thrus. You know, you fill out your stuff, drop it all in the little tube, throw it in there, and always wonder why it took so long to get up to the teller, or it took so long to get back even after you heard the machine running, because they had underground bunkers that shot the tube into like a square tank, an air vacuum tank, and then they pop it out real quick, duplicate all your information, sometimes steal your money, throw it all back in there and shoot it back through the chute. And that's why they built roofs over the top of them, so that satellites couldn't pick them up moving underground. Because it'll show pockets and stuff, satellites will. And they were doing this at Main Street at both banks, the Shopper, that bank there, and the bank next to Main Street Market. And then you'll find over here on Jackson that big drive-through that's been closed for quite a few years. That big drive-through would probably take, I don't know, 20 cars at one time. They were getting them all. You'll find there were so many tellers getting fired because they were getting arguments of people, driving away and counting their money and saying, hey, I'm $50 short in my envelope. They'd argue with a teller, and the banks were firing the tellers. It's exactly how the Chinese got all of our information.